Hello, Central New York, and hello, hockey fans all across the internet, and welcome to the Central New York Hockey Report podcast right here on the Studio 25 Podcast Network. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and our guest today, he's got to be in a good mood because he had a great weekend. We're going to talk about this in a second because we talked about, last week when he was talking to coming on, he said, well, we'll see how this weekend goes. But like I said, great weekend and a great guy, the head coach of the Colgate Raiders men's hockey team, Mike Harder. Coach, how are you?
Good. It's good, Scott. Are coaches ever in a good mood is my question. Maybe in May and June, they're in a better mood, but is it ever happening where they're chipper?
I've seen it on occasion.
Okay. Yeah. I'll see what I can do with my mood for you today.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, what I was just referring to was when I asked you to come on the show, I think it was Thursday or Friday. I can't remember which one it was. The memory's starting to get a little vintage. But anyways, you were going into a big weekend up north, and you said, well, what kind of mood I'm in on Monday? We'll see how it goes this weekend. And boy, I tell you, you guys had a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Our team has starting to have an identity now. There's group ownership of our goals. It's going well, but I'll tell you what, like this league, it's so hard. The minute you think you're a good team, you get a bit of humble pie the next Friday or Saturday, right? So our goalie actually said it best. One of the guys said to him, "Hey, great job this week," and he's like, "Yeah, well, it starts all over again on Monday." So it's a grind. I think in a lot of ways, looking at our league now, it's why we produce so many good pros, because every night is so hard, so well structured. You're just earning every inch of ice. It's a really, really hard league. And, you look at the standings on Thursday and then look at it again Sunday, and it's going to be a completely different table. So, we're definitely happy with how the weekend went, but right back in the grind today.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, Friday night you shut out Clarkson in Clarkson 2-0, and then of course the next night you went basically across the street and you beat St. Lawrence 6-1. Andrew Takis, your goaltender, had a fantastic weekend. For me, just as an observer from the outside, what I kind of see with this Colgate team is I see the defense starting to tighten up a lot.
Yeah. Our D-core is really good. We knew at the start of the year we're a little older back there too, which is great. We got two great transfers, so two great sophomore transfers, but our three seniors have been just great. They carry the load. Belpedio, Bergslin, and Irwin, they're unbelievable. They're just great humans as well, but it's so great to see how they've sort of taken the team and run with it. They're pretty much coaches themselves. I can just fade into the background, and they're doing a great job. They're so calm. There's no panic to their game. It's just, they're really great. No chaos at all. In fact, like Reed scored a goal outside the blue line, and you think like it was the fourth goal. It was still an important goal, but we won a face-off, and he looked like he was going to dump it, and then just at the last second shot it, and it went off the post and in. It's just those kinds of things. Like I told Reed, I'd seen that on TV once or twice, but I'd never really seen it live. And they're just a really, really smart group, and they're fun to be around. Like, God, I just love them. We say here a lot, like, it's not just your 4 years. We want you for 60 years at Colgate, because we're going to hit you up as successful alums, and we're going to hit you up to give money back. But I love this group so much, and I'm glad they're tasting some success right now.
Yeah, that goal you were talking about with Reed, and why you say there's so many good pros out of the league, that was a pro goal right there. That's what a pro player does.
He thinks it, right? They think it at a different level. And it's interesting too, like as coaches, we sometimes think we have all the answers, but we learn to defer to our guys a lot. There's group buy-in. There's always that why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? The more peer-to-peer coaching or counseling we can get going in our locker room, and the discussions on the bench in a calm, respectful manner, it's great. And we have a great group. So I'm really excited about the next 4 weeks, and then hopefully several weeks after that.
Yeah, I mean, you're in second place in the ECAC. What a great spot to be in, because as we know, it's so important to be in that top four at the end of the season. You get that first round bye.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what Colgate does, right? Colgate to me is just one of those teams that going forward, and I'm not saying this just because you're on my show. I am saying that.
Yes.
Going forward, especially now that Colgate's really finding their footing, or skating, if you will. I mean, depending on how you want to look at it. They're a team that nobody wants to play.
We hope so. Like, every team strives to be that team that, you don't want to play against. They make it really hard. We like to give teams a reason to quit, but I'm telling you, like, it's a hard league. Like, look around, like there are no easy games in this league, right? A lot of teams say, well, just win the games you should win. Well, that's every game. It's really hard. We have Union coming in, and that's a game for second place. And then right behind them is RPI, a team that's doing really well as well right now. So it's just up and down. It's who's healthy, who's not, who's in the flow state, who's hitting their stride. And, we just try to get our guys in a good place every Monday to Thursday, and then let them go Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it. There's the grind, like you just said. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Just like off topic, I really wanted to ask you about so there was that ruling that came down that the Canadian junior players from the CHL are going to be eligible to play D1 hockey in the NCAA. Yeah. So how does that change your approach to recruiting, if at all?
No, it does in a big way, a really big way. Like we're getting acquainted with 3 other leagues. 60 new teams came onto our radar, right? And we're working really hard to learn every coach, every GM. There's a group of agents now that just work primarily with CHL kids, so we've never had to deal with them before. And I think the biggest thing we're all going to learn it next year, how well do these kids translate? What is a 50-point scorer in Peterborough do versus a 50-point scorer in Chicoutimi or wherever in the Quebec League? And what do they do in the ECAC? Like, it's a hard thing. Those kids, they're great players. They've been coached really well. They play in nice arenas. They travel, but they're also playing against 17 and 18-year-olds for the most part.
Right.
How does that translate when you come here and play against 22 and 23-year-olds? Does it translate well? Does it not? Is it a certain kind of player? This kid has a great stick. He's really skilled. Will he be able to do it in the ECAC when time and space is condensed greatly? So these are hard questions. These are really hard questions. But we're going to find out. It's the great experiment begins, right? So I'm excited about it. We're optimistic. We're dipping our toes into that market. We have one kid committed for next year, and maybe we'll have 2 next year. But we're excited. There are, I think there are setbacks. I think for USA Hockey, maybe I think you're going to see it might hurt. I think a lot of Canadian players might find themselves playing college hockey in the next 3 to 5 years. I think the numbers might tilt. I know our team will probably go a little bit more Canadian. We only have 7 right now, but I think in a few years we might be closer to half. So I don't know, a lot of question marks, but kind of exciting to study it and to really lean into the data and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure it's probably not a very popular decision up north, and I can't blame them. Who would want to lose players that quality, especially? But I think down here in the States, not only is it going to benefit D1, but that whole trickle effect is going to go down to D3 as well.
No doubt. I guess my concern though is, I think college hockey's been winning. We've been winning this battle. We produce great pros, like I said. The first rounders lately are top picks. I think the National Development Program's done a great job. I just wonder long term what this does and I'm Canadian, so like I'm all for it. But still, I wonder what it does for USA Hockey and for kids that maybe used to be Division I players. I mean, the line is so thin, right? So thin. And now do those kids get pushed back? Do they turn to different sports? Does it hurt? Or, is it an opportunity for college hockey to grow? That would be great. Can we add some teams out west? Can we get to 70 teams? That would be great. That would be really great. So
I think that's a huge point, and it's something I never really thought about. That would really fuel a westward expansion, which I think would be great for the game, because obviously with more teams, more exposure, you're only going to get better hockey out of that.
Agreed. Look at the teams we have out west right now. Like ASU, they do really, really well. Obviously, they have a great facility, but Colorado College, Denver, Air Force, they all have great facilities. They do a great job, great fan support. I think it'd be great to add a UNLV, maybe a UNR, Reno. I spent some time in Reno. They're building something special there. So we have some places that I'm sure some club teams could turn, or, you look at your backyard, look at Utica. Could Utica be a team that's ready to go Division I? They got great facilities there. So how do we expand and how do we grow in this moment where there's a lot of players? Listen, 60 teams times 20, 25 players. That's almost 13, 14, 1,500, new players that are on the market, right? That's a lot. That's a lot.
Absolutely. And you know what? Those quality players, they need some place to play. So, I mean, the time is now really to take advantage of that.
Exactly.
We'd been talking about, ECAC and the pros, and I'll tell you, the Raiders, yes, Bobby McMahon doing very well up in Toronto, right? Chris Wagner's doing fantastic with Colorado. Carter Gylander, a guy who I interviewed before when we first started our podcast in its infancy. Great guy. Great to see him doing so well in the Detroit Red Wings organization.
Yeah, and for goalies, it takes a little longer, right? So he might not make it to the NHL for 2 or 3 years still, and that might be just right in his proper trajectory. So they're happy with him. We're so proud of him. He's great. Man, Bobby getting his 15th. What a goal. I don't know if you saw his goal Saturday. Bobby is on the power play. He's the bumper guy with Marner, Tavares, Matthews. Like, he's playing with the greatest players in the world. It's just so great. We're so proud of him. Me and Coach Vaughn, we text back and forth about him all the time. I know Vonner's a huge Maple Leafs fan now, and I being from Winnipeg, I've been bred to hate the Leafs, hate everything about them. They can't even spell their name properly. That's grammatically incorrect. We just hate them. I'm a Jets fan growing up in Winnipeg, but it's hard not to root for Bobby right now. He's so great, and we love everything about it. So we're super proud of him over here.
So, side note on that. Now you got the wheels turning here. You loved the Jets when you were a kid. Now, when they moved to Phoenix, and they became Arizona, did you love them as that incarnation, or did you pick another team?
No, I hated all of it. Yeah, I was here at Colgate as a player when they moved, and hated all of it. I hate that we don't have the history. Like, when the Jets do historical things, or most points, we don't include Howardchuk or Solani. Like, it's the Jets 2.0. I don't understand why that is. Why can't we just have? I understand it's franchise, and I'm not quite that thick, but like, it's still, for us, for fans, it's like it's the Jets in the '80s is what we should be comparing things to, and those are the players we should be honored, not the Atlanta Thrashers or Phoenix Coyotes or whatever it is. Yeah,
the Atlanta Thrashers and their long history of success. That's a.
But I'm excited. I'm planning. I was telling somebody I'm planning a trip to Winnipeg in June for sure for some Stanley Cup games. I hope. I'm not jinxing it there, but that'd be great. They're fun to watch.
They look good though. They really do. And the Jets are just one of those teams. Like, every year, you kind of pick them. Like, okay, they got a stacked lineup. They're going to run through the West, and then something, or usually injuries or whatever. Yeah. This year's team, though, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what's going to slow them down.
I talked to my grandmother about it as much again. She's a diehard Jets fan too, and if you think about it, like how well they're doing, a lot of good players. I wonder what the percentage is, but a lot of players have no trade clauses, and unfortunately, I think we talked about Winnipeg Winters off the air, but there's a lot of guys with no trade clauses to Winnipeg in general for the weather and probably tax reasons. But they're doing great despite all of it. I'm so proud of that team. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are. They really are. And just, before we move away, I mean, remember how people said, oh my God, what are they doing signing Scheifele and Hellebuck to those huge contracts in the offseason? Looks like they knew a little bit more than everybody else did. Just to say that.
Right. Oh, it's great. It's really fun. It's great for the city too. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So to shift back over to your team. So, like I said, you talked about your seniors and your decor and the tremendous job they've been doing. What else are you seeing out of this roster that's made this team so special that's really starting to come out in the second half?
Yeah. Well, I think two things really. There's a commitment to success. Like, our guys are fully bought in, and our assistant coaches are great. Battlementi, Walsh, and Nell. They've just done a great job. Nelly with the goalies, he's done a great job, and Walshy and Bats, they just do a great job. We make it fun. Our guys want to be at the rink. They just want to be. They're here all the time. It's a great facility to start with and a great locker room, but we have a great culture in there. Like, guys get here early, they're here late. They're fun to be around. And I think that once you have them wanting to be at the rink and having a good time at the rink, then the teaching can happen. Then the sacrifice starts. They pay attention to details because we have them. We have their attention for so long, right? But it's great. And like I said, the commitment from the group, they want to win. They want to win. There's nothing more fun than winning, right? So they love it, and they're fully bought in.
Yeah, there is nothing better than winning. You're right. Absolutely. And, you mentioned the rink. That is such a beautiful facility. And I tell everybody, because obviously there's a lot of hockey fans, Utica, Syracuse, Rome, the entire area. And unfortunately, the reality is a lot of them haven't come down to see a Colgate game. And I tell everybody that I talk to, and they're like, oh, here we go. He's going to start about Colgate again. But I'm like, you don't know what you're missing with this building that's less than an hour away. Just make the trip sometime.
No, it's fun. And listen, there's some, future NHLers in this building every night. So it's really great. We're starting to create like a pretty fun atmosphere too. Kids are starting to come to games. We play it pretty wide open. We have structure for sure. We try to have structure in our zone at least, but we play a pretty fun brand of hockey. Like our D have the green light to go. Our goalies are fun to watch. Our forwards are really creative, super crafty. It's fun. We give up some things, but we create a lot of things on the offensive side. We're a team that likes to attack off the rush. We have fun. So hopefully that our fans can see that and, start to build a culture where it's fun to come into this rink and try to get students here and maybe give them access to a couple drinks here or there.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we say it all the time. Like if I'm a parent of a 20-year-old sophomore or something here, there's no more fun environment and a controlled, safe environment than coming to a hockey game. Like come to a game, hang out with your friends, it's really great. It's super fun. It's warm in here. And we're trying to create this party atmosphere that we hope the kids can buy into.
Well, you're certainly doing a great job of that. And it's funny you mentioned the D and the rush, when you were talking about that and talking about Howard, Chuck, and Sly, I'm like, wow, maybe he's just trying to recreate Fire Wagon 80s hockey.
I love it. If only I could get the other team's goalies to stand up all the time. That would be great. If we could play against those goalies, that would be really great. But that's an interesting point, Scott. Like, I wonder if, you coach to what you love, right? And I grew up with just loving those teams, Thomas Dean, Dale Howard-Chuck, and then, over a couple provinces over, watching Gretzky Curry the whole time. So, maybe that's what we're trying to recreate here, and I don't even realize it.
Well, like I said, that's just exactly what made me think about it. And then watch, it's like, yeah, you know what? He's right. The D's always. I'm like, oh, who's going to be Paul Coffey now? Who's going to be Phil Housley now? We got Newman,
Yeah, that's such a great point. We got 6D that play like Paul Coffey. That's awesome. That's not always a recipe for success, but it's certainly fun.
Never a dull moment, though. That's for sure.
No, that's for sure. I'm going to think about that all day today.
So, you mentioned that, the party and having a good time. I'm looking at the schedule. So you got Union coming in, like you said, Friday. That's going to be a huge game. Yeah. Big ECAC or implications there. Yeah. RPI has that night is the Super Bowl party. You know anything about that?
No, I honestly don't know. What does that mean? Are we doing a Super Bowl party?
Apparently, I was looking at the schedule and it says Super Bowl party, February 8th. I'm like, okay. I'm like,
I don't know anything about it. From what I understand, the Super Bowl is usually on Sunday, but I don't know. Yeah. Maybe we're getting a preview here at Colgate. I don't know, but all I think about is how we can manufacture wins here in the next two.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at the rest of the schedule, it's obviously you played these teams already once this year or this season, I should say.
We haven't seen Union or RPI.
Oh,
yet.
You haven't? Oh, I just skipped right over it. I'm sorry.
It's that funny quirk in the ECA schedule where you don't play them till toward the end, and then you play them 4 times in a couple of weekends. Yeah.
They scroll a little bit too fast, and then
all good. Yeah. So we haven't seen them yet, so we're not sure. We're not sure what to expect. We'll see a lot of video on them this week, though. That's for sure.
Right. But you have seen St. Lawrence, Clarkson, Yale, Brown. Yeah. So the team's in a good spot. It's just a matter of keeping the pedal down. And back to that 80s Fire Wagon hockey. Right?
Easier said than done, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We're also we carry one of the smallest rosters in the NCAA, and we have a few key injuries now, and other guys have been great stepping up. But there's just that thin line. You're one injury away, or you're a couple of bad games away. So you're exactly right. You said it right. We got to keep the pedal down for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So just to close, I always like to ask the goofy question.
All
right. Which player on your roster would make the best WWE superstar?
Oh, wow. That's really, you know what? It has to be our goalie. It has to be. The other day, he's unbelievable. The other day, 2 things. Can I tell you 2 quick ones? One, we're on a power play and we hops over our D's 6, so it's going to be a breakaway. So they got 2 guys way ahead of our D. And I'm looking in this direction. I don't even want to look at the breakaway. I just keep looking. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, good Lord, I can't believe we're going to give up a shorthanded breakaway. And I slowly, casually look over the other way. And all of a sudden, our goalie's at the blue line. Like, he beats their guy. He got a jump on it. He might be one of our fastest players. He got a jump on it. And then he ends up sliding. The puck's in the corner. He's outside our blue line. It was chaos. It felt like a WWE night. And then I think it was the night before. There's a little bit of traffic in our end, and a kid went down, and he got his stick tangled up with our goalie, and he just dropped the stick. So the stick was in the crease. And the play moves up the ice, and the kid comes back to pick up his stick in the crease. Tax picks it up and tosses it over the net, like tries to put it over the glass. As the kid comes back, I think he even went to hand the kid the stick and then tossed it over the glass. And the ref, he gets an interference penalty, and the ref comes over. He's like, Mike, you got to get a guy to serve it for your goalie. I'm like, come on, was that really a penalty? Like, come on, what was that?
That was entertainment. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's pure entertainment. Like what? And our student section's going nuts. It's awesome. So that might be the easiest question I'll face all week. That 100% our goalie. We just don't know what he's going to do next, and love him for it. Definitely love him for it. But yeah, he's something else. We love him. So
now we just got to get him some pyro when he comes skating out on the ice.
That's exactly right. He can have a whole routine.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on and talk with us. This has been really fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
No, I'd love to get people to come out. I mean, it's such a great league. It's such a great brand of hockey. And we're going to see two really good games this weekend for sure here at the Class of 65.
Absolutely. And so like I've said a million times before, and I'll say it 1,000,001. Get down to that arena. You do not know what you're missing.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season. We'll see you down at the rink sometime. So
thank you. See you guys.
Alrighty. Thank you. All right. Coach Mike Harder, Colgate Raiders men's hockey. Jordan, that was awesome. He is such a fun guy to talk to. And I think
Jordan.
Jordan lost his audio. And he did. Okay. So
Jordan, your audio is on. Yeah, he's off.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about what's going on in the rest of the Central New York college hockey world. We'll be right back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, and we are back. Like I've said a million times, I love that music. Just want to add, though,
I
that
forgot.
My Little Falls is now thedailypost.digital.
I forgot. Yeah.
I was, you know what?
I looked at it. I haven't run that in a bit, and it's like, oh, man, I got to change that commercial.
I'm like, well, the jingle's got to change. Well, keep the music.
I'll keep the music for you. Put some fresh images in, graphics.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We are back for the second half here, and let's see, is Jordan's audio working? This looks like a game show. All right, so he's going to come back in just a second. So while we're waiting for him, just like I said, a quick wrap around what's going on with the college hockey world in Central New York. I'll tell you, we talked about the Colgate Raiders men's hockey team. The Colgate Raiders women's hockey team has been an absolute wagon this weekend, or just this weekend, but this year. 24-6-0, they're fourth in the country now.
Ooh.
Fourth.
That's moving right along.
Right. So, I mean, the new rankings come out this afternoon,
right.
Actually. This past weekend.
We're doing this show on a Monday. So
Monday morning. Yes, I should add that.
You should have added that. Yep.
Well, I'm so used to going live.
I know.
We have to get used to this recorded concept here. So, all right. So, while he's doing that, I just want to finish my thought about Colgate. So last weekend, Dave, Both games were at home. They beat number 9 Clarkson 2-1 in overtime. What a game that was. Hannah Murphy stole that game for the Raiders. I mean, she had I think it was over 50 saves. I want to say it was 51.
That's it.
I mean, Clarkson threw everything but the kitchen sink at them.
I saw that one listed as a save too.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, she got sink. 2 for that because it was a sink. You know? But no, I mean, Colgate was down 1-0 late in the third period. They tied it up, went to overtime, and then they got the game winner. But like I said, it was Hannah Murphy that won that game for her. She was fantastic.
Yeah, 50 saves. That's a lot of work.
And I'll tell you, she was really good the next night too, or next day, because it was an afternoon game. Number 7, St. Lawrence. The Skating Saints came to town.
Skating Saints.
And the Raiders beat them 3-2 in overtime. So that's huge standings wise. That's really, really big because you get 2 big wins over 2 top 10 teams like that. It's going to go a long way. Like I said, I'm not really sure what happened with the top 3 teams in front of them. We're going to find out, this afternoon when the rankings come out. And I tell you, 4 games left for the Raiders, all ECAC games, but they're looking really, really strong going into the, into the tournament. And, when we had Doug Christensen on a couple weeks ago, remember? He said, if the tournament comes to Colgate, we might have to hold them to that live show.
We might.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Well, because I tell you, it was down there last year because Colgate made it all the way through to the finals and they ended up winning the ECAC. And I was down there to cover, and Pierre McGuire was there. It was a really, really super good time. And like I said, it just goes along the line of what I keep saying. You don't know what you're missing if you haven't been to the class of 1965 arena.
Yeah. No, it's what you said, less than an hour for from Utica
from Utica or Syracuse.
Yeah.
So we're in Little Falls, so it's an hour and 15 minutes from here. Okay. But still, I mean, it's a straight shot drive. You're just major highways.
It's like driving to Albany or Syracuse from here. So yeah.
Basically, yes. Yeah. Basically. All right, so let's see. I know when Jordy comes back in.
He's not coming back in, so keep going.
He's going to want to talk about the Pioneers, so I'll hold off on the Pioneers for a second. Let's talk about Hamilton, and especially the Hamilton College Continentals men's hockey team. They're number 8 in the country. Again, the D3 rankings come out this afternoon, too. Dave, they've won 9 games in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, this team.
That's a good streak.
This team has really been on fire. Just they haven't lost in 2025.
Wow. We're still, the year is young, but yeah, that's good.
It is. And I don't want to jinx anybody, and I don't want to put the horse the horse before the wagon or the wagon before the horse. I can't remember.
Horse before the cart.
Oh, that.
Or the cart before the horse, whichever way.
I get
the normal way is the horse comes first, but
I don't have a horse, so I don't know.
That was just wrong. It was wrong at every level.
Well, I don't. How am I supposed to know?
Did a horse pulls a cart?
Okay, whatever. Anyways, just strike that from the record.
We're not striking that. We're leaving that.
Yes, we are. But anyways, but no, I mean, 2 more big wins this weekend. 5-2 over Wesleyan. These were on the road, by the way. And then Saturday, they went to Trinity, which is in Hartford, Connecticut, the number 12 Bantams, and they beat them 2-1. So kind of avenging a loss earlier in the season because Trinity came to Clinton, which is where obviously Hamilton College is, and beat the Continentals 3-2. I think that was November 24th. So things are really, really looking up for this Hamilton College Continentals team. And I'll tell you, it'll be really something if they end up facing off with Utica in the NCAA tournament. Oof. So, I mean, and again, I'm not trying to jinx anything because the tournament is a ways away. It is. But Hamilton's in first place in the NCAC, which is the conference they play in. And that the champion of that conference gets an automatic bid into the NCAAs.
So, tell me how the playoffs are going to go. Playoffs?
Yeah, well, again, I think I've already gone a little bit too far. So, no, because I don't want to be the one that gets blamed.
I'm not trying to get you to pick teams, It's just like.
Well, no, I mean, you got your NCAA tournament, which, I think they're the 12 teams, I believe it is, or 16. I got to look it up. I'm thinking D1 because D1 and D3 are different.
Yeah.
So, is he going to have sound? That's what I'm worried about.
That's a whole key thing. Well, it seems like he's struggling there. Yeah.
Let's see. Jordy, go ahead. No sound. Anyways, so with the Continentals, they just I know some people weren't expecting this year out of them, but I will say, and you've heard me say it before, last season they had a fantastic recruiting class, and it's really starting to bear fruit now. Luke Decor, I mean, you can definitely say that he's for real, along with this entire Continentals team. Charlie Archer's been outstanding in goal for them this year. I think he's 11-1-0, something like that. So, Nothing but good going on right now for the Continentals.
Yeah. Goalie can really carry a team.
You're right.
Yep.
You can. You can either carry it. He or she can either carry a team, or they can stop a good team dead in their tracks.
That's true.
It's what happens sometimes, right?
Yeah.
As the saying goes, you get goalied.
Get goalied.
Get goalied. Okay, let's see what else here. Let's reach into the old bag of tricks while Jordy's working on his his audio. You know what, Dave? Let's talk about Oswego.
Okay.
So
they don't get enough love, or what?
Well, we don't talk about them as much. So they're 11-6-3, and this is the men's team, just outside of the rankings. But they had a pretty good. Let's see here. Give me two seconds. Okay, so last weekend they beat Plattsburgh, huge rival, by the way. Plattsburgh, gigantic rival. I was up there last year for the whiteout game.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What a scene. People can't see that you have a laptop. They think you're looking at a crystal ball.
Maybe I am.
You could be.
I should.
Playoffs.
Right? But yeah, they beat Plattsburgh 5-3 in Plattsburgh, by the way. And then Friday night they tied Potsdam. So this is the Sudiac games. It's the conference they play in. You got to watch out. So those every game's a grind.
Yeah.
Like Coach Harder was saying with the ECAC, it's like that with every conference because it's conference points are very important because, like I said, most of these conferences have automatic bids into the NCAA tournament. So,
yeah, back to Colgate. Do you think that because they group some teams towards the end like that they haven't seen yet, that maybe that causes them to be higher or lower in the rankings than you might think, or should it be more spread out? I mean, should they?
It normally is more spread out, but like Coach Harder said, it was kind of a quirk of the schedule.
Yeah,
they normally do a pretty good job.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't quite scroll all the way because I was looking at two different. Yeah,
you were messing around. Telling, right?
Right, exactly. And so, anyways, with Oswego, the women's team though has been unbelievable this year. So they're ranked 5th in the USCHO, and they're ranked 8th in the D3 Hockey News. Our friend Chris Sugar,
Chris Sugar,
in his poll. So they're on an absolute tear this season.
And everybody loves a little sugar. So
that's right.
Yeah.
A little sugar in the coffee. They've won 5 in a row. They're 16-2-1. Right. So they were just in the area this Tuesday. They actually beat number 11 Utica 3-0. That was at the Nexus Center. And then they came home and they beat SUNYAC rival Buffalo State 7-0 and 2-1 over the weekend. So good weekend for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lexi Levy, their goaltender, has just been unreal. And Jordy just keeps disappearing.
Yeah.
This is
yeah. He's got problems there.
Yeah.
I would just move along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, I got it all fixed."
No, he doesn't.
Okay. But anyways, so we'll finish up with the Utica Pioneers.
Yeah. I'm waiting to hear.
The men's hockey team. So this is exciting, right? Because they're number 2 currently in the country. They won 7 games in a row this weekend. They beat Brockport at Brockport 7-1. And then Saturday night, they had a bit of a challenge because it was a home and home.
Right.
The Golden Eagles came to the Adirondack Bank Center and it was a 2-1 game. There he is.
There he is.
Oh, just in time. I just started talking about the Utica Pioneers men. All right. So Jordy, you were at that game Saturday night. The Pioneers, they pulled it out, but they were nearly goalied.
Yeah. Watching that game, coming into it, I had talked around and I had been at the other Brockport game, or watched the Brockport game the night before, and been at the other Brockport game when they played here. They hadn't played Hudson to start all season. And it's been like a 1-2A, 2B kind of situation in Brockport. So I said, Hudson has played the best. He's basically their starting goalie. He has never started against Utica this season. He performed the best of any goalie. I said, if they want a chance, they should play him. Well, they started him, and I think that was a big thing. Cole Hudson has Utica's number. He's very good against us. I don't know how. I don't know why, but he just knows how to shut us down.
So essentially it was your fault that they almost lost.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
You start asking questions, it's on you.
I mean, all kidding aside, because I watched that game as well, and Utica played fantastic. I mean, they controlled the game for, vast portions of it. It was like you said, I mean, Hudson just played a great game, but you know what, though? The Pioneers found a way to win, and that's what you do.
Yeah, and Brockport with the record's very deceiving. They only have, I think, still one double-digit point getter, and their two best players are their twin sophomores that are on the same line. But with Hudson and Net, I think they're a lot better than their record shows. Like a Manhattanville in this conference where they can beat anybody at any time. The season has shown anybody can beat anybody. Hobart just lost over the weekend. Geneseo started losing. So when it was 1-1, I was genuinely worried.
Oh, well, look, Dave and I were talking while you were fixing your audio. You know, with you, if you get a hot goaltender or a goaltender who's having a great game, anything can happen. And so that's certainly true. But I mean, with the Pioneers too, there was a lot of changes. Well, not a lot, but I mean some over the end of semester break. Ryan Piros came in to play goal because thank goodness because Brian Landsberger is injured, and it's pretty unclear as when he's going to be back.
Yeah, the timetable's been said slightly differently in two places. On the Comet broadcast, it came out one way, and then I thought I saw it reported slightly differently somewhere else. Because I thought I heard it somewhere, but it sounds like he may not come back for the season. It does sound serious. I spotted him a couple weeks ago with scratches who were actually in the 100s, which never happens. And they had crutches, but at the time I'm like, I don't know whose crutches they are. I'm not going to speculate, but it seems like those were his. So with him being on crutches, you may not see him till at least playoffs. But for Piros to come in and step up, a kid from a university that plays over in the SUNYAC that's getting leveled, you're going, who's this kid with, I think, a 3.89 GAA with just under 900 save percentage, and he's lighting it up here.
Right. Well, I mean, he obviously wasn't getting much help on defense where he was at. So, you know, that's huge too. I mean, he's 7-0 since he came here. Yeah,
and he's got that shutout. And watching him, it wasn't even me that said this, but after somebody said it, I could see it. He looks like Gianluca from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Exact same type of goaltender. Very quick, can go post to post like it's nothing. Very good glove, very quick glove. He's the future here.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. But well, I tell you, it's too bad for Landsberger though. What a story he was. You know, came back in, picked the team up when they needed it, and now this happens. It's like you just hope that he can at least get back for the playoffs.
Yeah, and he's a fan favorite, so I know a lot of people that are like, great, Landsy's hurt. That's the one guy we would not want him to get hurt in a million years.
Right. But, I mean, big news for the Pioneers. It wasn't necessarily what they did, but it was the team that's in front of them did. Hobart lost for the first time this season. They lost in overtime Friday night to Albertus Magnus. So Dave and I were talking about the polls, which are coming out this afternoon, potentially, and I don't want to, speculate just yet. I don't want to jinx anything, but we could have a new number one team in Division III college hockey for the men.
Oh, it's definitely possible. And if Utica lands there, their only real challenge should be Geneseo, which is in 2 weeks. I know when they're at
Valentine's Day weekend.
Night. Yep.
Yeah.
That's one
week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
wife is not going to be happy when I'm saying spending Valentine's Day.
Everyone that I know in my section was like, I'm probably going to be here, and it's going to be Valentine's Day.
Oh, geez, yeah. I hate it when that happens on Friday night.
Yeah, but come on, it's Geneseo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So
at that point, you want to see that game of all games.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean that's and that's huge. That pretty much decides the UCHC, really. And and again, this is just going to be an exciting finish right down to the wire. But I will say this too, that Geneseo and Brockport coming into the UCHC has really strengthened the conference insofar as bringing, I don't want to say, because it has become more balanced. But you know what? I will say that as a hockey fan in general, it's nice to see two top teams like Utica and Geneseo in the same division battling it out like that.
Yeah, and like Coach Heenan's come on before and said 100 times, he loves to have a schedule as stacked as possible. And Geneseo and Brockport coming in gives you a little bit more of that. Plus, Manhattanville and Nazareth are just as good at teams, and the only reason they're below 500 is because you got to play Utica and Geneseo 4 times a year each. If that wasn't the case, I'm convinced they'd be above 500, and everyone would be looking at them going, they're good.
Right.
They're a team to worry about.
Right.
They're not going to necessarily make it to the NCAAs, but they'll sneak up on you in your conference tournament.
Sure, for sure. And, you mentioned Nazareth, so that's a perfect segue over to the women's side because the Pioneers will be playing arch rival Nazareth in another home series this weekend. Friday night, the 7th, they are at home. They're at the Utica University Nexus Center. And then the next day, Saturday, they go back out to Rochester to finish that one off. Of course, they broke the curse of losing to Nazareth. They finally beat Nazareth earlier in this season. The Pioneers, they played 3 times last week. We were talking about Oswego earlier. Oswego came in Tuesday night. They beat Utica 3-0. I will say that this Oswego women's team has been unbelievable this season, and they're finally getting some recognition that they truly do deserve because they really are a great team. So no shame at all in losing to the Lakers. And then, of course, the Pioneer. Of course, Angela Hawthorne. By the way, congratulations to her setting the career saves record for Utica Pioneers that first game against Manhattanville on Friday. So that's when she set the record. Right, it was like a minute 20 into the game. So good for her to get that out of the way. And then they cruised that weekend, and it was an Angela Hawthorne weekend because they won 7-0 and 2-0. So Angela Hawthorne doing Angela Hawthorne things. But like I said, this weekend is huge because once again, huge UCHC implications on the line. And he froze out now. Oh.
Yep.
Okay. All righty. Well,
you can finish it.
I guess I will. So yeah, like I said, huge home series with Nazareth this weekend. I don't think I need to overstate it because everybody knows how big this is. And then of course they got to play Manhattanville. Oh, is he?
He's trying to come back.
Trying?
He's trying.
All
right.
Works.
Okay, there you go. You're back. You froze up.
Yep.
This is going to be like a regular part of the show. We need a graphic for this.
No.
We could really turn it into a game show.
Yeah, we could.
Oh, he froze up again. It could be, it'd be like a drinking game. Every time Jordy disappears or freezes up, take a drink.
I don't.
We would have the drunkest audience ever.
I don't think I have any graphics that would go over that. No, I got nothing.
Oh man. But all right, I'm just going to finish up real quick here. 4 more games left for the Pioneers after this weekend. 2 more against Manhattanville and then 2 more against Chatham to close the season out. That's an all UCHC schedule. So, like I said, build some momentum heading into that postseason tournament. All right, so that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank Colgate head coach Mike Harder for coming on. It was a great conversation, great guy. And like I said, one more time, get down to the class of 1965 arena. If you haven't yet, you do not know what you're missing. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Be sure to check out CNYHockeyReport.com for all your Central New York scores, news, updates, and what have you. And we will see you next time.